Chosen one, the pressure you have been feeling was never random. Something has been moving toward you in silence. In this message, you will understand why the delays, the closed doors, and the strange shifting around you were actually clearing a path for unexpected wealth to reach you. You need to hear this clearly, because what is happening around you is not ordinary. There is a reason your energy has been restless. There is a reason certain people started falling away. There is a reason plans changed at the last second, money flow slowed, and then your spirit kept telling you that something bigger was coming. That feeling was not fear, that was preparation. Chosen one, unexpected wealth does not always arrive like a loud announcement. Sometimes it comes like a silence before movement. Sometimes it begins with a loss you do not understand. Sometimes it looks like a delay, but it is actually divine redirection. What felt like the universe saying no was really the universe saying not here, not yet, because what is coming for you is too big to place in the wrong hands. And that is why this feels so intense right now. You are not just being given money, you are being positioned for a different life. That is why your mind keeps returning to the same feeling, the same pull, the same knowing. Something inside you already recognizes that your next season is not going to look like your last one. You may have noticed it in small ways first. A sudden idea, an unexpected message, a door that almost opened, then shut. A moment where you thought you missed your chance, only to realize later that missing it saved you. That is the hidden truth here. You were not being rejected, you were being preserved. And if you have been wondering why everything had to feel so uncomfortable before this shift, it is because wealth that lasts usually comes after a stripping away. It comes after your attachment to the old version of survival is broken. It comes after the version of you that was too available, too anxious, too desperate, too quick to settle, is finally removed from the path. That is why this title is not just a message, it is a warning and a promise. Unexpected wealth is finding you, but it is not finding the old you. It is finding the version of you that has been through the fire and still did not fold. It is finding the one who kept going even when no one clapped. It is finding the one who kept believing even when the evidence looks dead. And this is where most people miss it. They think wealth only means money landing in the bank. But for the chosen one, wealth begins much earlier than that. It begins when your perception changes. It begins when you stop seeing yourself as someone waiting to be rescued and start realizing you are being prepared to receive. That shift changes everything, because once your mind changes, your hands change, your decisions change, your timing changes, your confidence changes, and then the outer world has no choice but to respond. That is the deeper truth hidden inside this moment. You are not being asked to chase what is coming. You are being asked to become the person who can hold it without losing themselves. Think about how many times you were almost pulled back into old habits, old fear, old environments, old conversations that drained you. That was the test. Not because you were weak, but because the coming blessing requires a cleaner channel. Unexpected wealth cannot stay where chaos is constantly invited. It moves toward clarity. It moves toward clarity. It moves toward the one who has learned how to stand still without panicking. And I need to tell you something that may feel uncomfortable at first. The reason this is so close is because you have already been through enough to recognize it when it arrives. You are not starting from zero. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are standing at the edge of a turn that has been building in the background for a long time. So when that thought hits you again, the one that says something is about to change, do not dismiss it. That is not random intuition. That is alignment. That is your spirit catching up to a reality your eyes have not seen yet. A lot of people will misunderstand this part. They will assume unexpected wealth means instant comfort. But for you, the arrival itself is part of the transformation. The money, the opportunity, the support, the opening, the access, the sudden provision, all of it is also teaching you how to receive without fear. Because the real breakthrough is not just getting more. It is becoming safe enough inside yourself to keep more. And this is why your emotions have been all over the place. One day you feel hopeful. The next day you feel like everything is taking too long. One minute you trust it, and the next minute you question whether anything is happening at all. That emotional swing is often what happens right before a major shift, because the old identity is resisting being replaced. But listen closely, chosen one. The old identity is losing. The new one is already taking form. You can feel it. Something meant for you is finally getting closer. Type in the comments, WE Health. Subscribe to Born into Light. There is something deeply important about the timing here. Timing matters because the right blessing at the wrong time can be wasted. What is coming toward you is being matched to a version of you that can actually carry it forward. That means the waiting was never empty. It was calibration. It was training. It was the invisible work of preparing your mind, your instincts, your boundaries, and your endurance for the kind of change that would have overwhelmed the old you. And this is the part that may hit you the hardest. You have been praying for relief, but the answer has been coming in the form of reinvention. That is why the pressure has felt so specific. Not generic stress, specific pressure. Pressure around money, pressure around direction, pressure around what is real, what is not, who stays, who leaves, what you can trust, what must end. That kind of pressure does not come to destroy the chosen one. It comes to refine the chosen one. You are being sharpened for a reason. And now the shift is becoming visible, not fully, not all at once, but enough to know that this is no longer the same season. You may not be able to name it yet, but you can feel that the atmosphere has changed. The opportunities around you are beginning to behave differently. The resistance is not as random as before. Your inner voice is louder. Your discernment is stronger. You are not as easy to mislead. That is not a small thing. That is wealth preparation. Because unexpected wealth does not only test your wallet, it tests your identity. It asks, will you recognize yourself when life gets easier? It asks, will you remain humble when doors open? It asks, will you keep your values when speed increases? It asks, will you protect what is sacred when abundance arrives? And maybe that is why you had to go through so much first. Not because you were being punished, because you were being made trustworthy with what is coming. Let me say something directly to the part of you that has been tired of waiting. The delay was not denial. The pause was not abandonment. The silence was not emptiness. The path has been rearranging itself around you while you thought nothing was happening. And the reason this keeps building inside you is because your spirit already knows what your mind is still trying to catch up to. There is a moment in every chosen one's life when the old struggle stops feeling like the center of the story. That moment usually comes right before the blessing becomes undeniable, right before the proof arrives, right before the unexpected call, the unexpected opening, the unexpected support, the unexpected blessing that changes the entire direction of the next chapter. And I need you to feel this deeply. When it comes, you will not have to force it. You will recognize it. It will feel like something you have been carrying in your bones for far too long, finally stepping into the physical world. It will feel strange at first because it has been spiritual before it becomes visible. That is why you are still here. That is why you did not quit when it would have been easier to disappear. That is why your heart kept pulling you forward, even when your surroundings gave you no reason to hope. You were being held for a moment you could not yet see, and the moment is closer than it looks, because the next sign is not going to ask for your permission first. It will arrive in a way that interrupts your normal thinking. That is how you will know it is real. Not because it looks dramatic, because it lands with a weight you cannot ignore, a call that changes the rhythm of your day, a message that shifts the energy in your chest, a sudden opening that feels too aligned to be random. And once it happens, you will look back and realize the signs were never absent. They were building. They were stacking. They were leading you here, one quiet step at a time. That is why you had to become more still. That is why certain distractions started losing their power. That is why the things that once fed your fear no longer feel as convincing. You are not the same receiver anymore. You do not hear the same way. You do not react the same way. You do not react the same way. You do not move the same way. And that matters more than you think, because unexpected wealth does not just look for need. It looks for readiness. It looks for the person who can recognize the moment without panicking, the person who can receive without collapsing into doubt, the person who can hold a blessing without turning it into a burden. You have been growing into that person, even when it felt slow, even when it felt invisible, even when you were tired of being the one who kept showing up with no proof yet in hand. You were still changing. And the change was not small. It was structural. It was deep. It was the kind that cannot be faked when the real moment arrives. That is why what comes next will feel strangely familiar. Not because you have lived it before, because your spirit has already rehearsed it. Your mind may call it surprise, but your inner self will recognize it as arrival. That is the hidden reason this path has felt so charged. You are not just waiting for money, you are being trained to carry an answer. Because for you, the blessing is not isolated. It touches everything: how you think, how you speak, how you choose, how you see yourself, how you respond when life finally stops resisting and starts opening. And once that opening begins, you will notice something else. The people who doubted you will no longer define the story. The places that drained you will no longer feel like home. The version of survival you accepted before will no longer fit your hands. That is the shift. That is the real change. Not just that something is coming, but that you are no longer built for the same level of struggle. You have outgrown it. And that is why the pressure has felt so strange lately. It is the pressure of a door about to open. It is the pressure of a season that cannot stay hidden much longer. It is the pressure of a lifeline coming closer while everything old is being stripped away from your reach. You may not see the full picture yet, but you can feel the edge of it. You can feel the pause before movement. You can feel the quiet before the confirmation. And that feeling is telling the truth. Because the next part is not about hoping anymore. It is about recognizing. It is about noticing what is already turning toward you. It is about understanding why certain losses had to happen before this could come through. The same things that once felt like endings were making room. The same doors that closed were protecting the path. The same delays that hurt you were guarding the timing. And now that timing is starting to speak. Softly at first, then unmistakably, then all at once. That is why you should pay attention to what feels different in the coming days. Not everything loud is important. Not everything quiet is empty. Sometimes the most important shift begins as a small inner knowing that keeps getting stronger until it becomes impossible to dismiss. That is what is happening to you now. And the moment you stop arguing with it, you will feel the energy change. Because your agreement matters, your awareness matters, your readiness matters. The blessing is not just arriving to you. It is arriving through the version of you that learned how to keep going without seeing the whole map. That is why this was never random. That is why the waiting had purpose. That is why the path kept bending in ways you did not expect. It was all moving you toward a point where the unexpected would no longer scare you. It would confirm you. And once that confirmation lands, you will understand why everything had to be this exact way. Because the next opening is already forming, and the thing moving toward you is carrying more than just provision. It is carrying proof. Proof that you were not imagining the pull. Proof that the silence was not empty. Proof that the feeling in your spirit was not desperation. It was direction. And now that direction is tightening into something real. You may not know the full shape of it yet, but you can feel the pull getting stronger. That is because the distance between unseen and visible is getting smaller. What was once only a knowing is beginning to take form. What was once only pressure is beginning to become release. What was once only delay is beginning to become movement. And when that movement starts, it will not ask you to understand everything at once. It will ask you to trust what has already been proven inside you. You have already survived the part that would have broken your focus. You have already outlasted the part that would have made you compromise. You have already crossed the threshold where doubt could have swallowed your peace. That matters now, because the next door is not opening to someone who needs every answer first. It is opening to the one who stayed aligned while the answers were still hidden. That is you. The chosen one does not always receive the full picture before the shift. Sometimes the full picture arrives because the shift has already begun, and that is where you are now. At the edge of the moment, where everything starts making sense in reverse. The things that hurt you will reveal their purpose. The things that confused you will reveal their timing. The things that made you wait will reveal their protection, and you'll see that the path was never random at all. It was preparing a version of life that could not be entered by fear, only by readiness, only by discernment, only by the one who had learned how to remain steady while the unseen was arranging itself. That is why your spirit keeps leaning forward. That is why you keep sensing that something is close. That is why the quiet around you does not feel like absence anymore. It feels loaded. It feels charged. It feels like the breath before a turning point. And this turning point is not small. It is the kind that changes the way you move, the way you listen, the way you respond when opportunity speaks. Because when unexpected wealth finds you, it will not just touch one area. It will expose the entire structure of your life. It will show you what is stable. It will show you what is temporary. It will show you who belongs near the next version of you and who cannot follow you there. That part may feel intense, but it is necessary, because wealth without clarity becomes a trap. And you are never being prepared for a trap. You are being prepared for freedom. The kind that comes with responsibility, the kind that comes with discernment, the kind that comes with knowing that every open door is not meant to be walked through carelessly. You are being made wise enough to recognize the difference. That is the hidden blessing. That is the deeper layer. Not just that more is coming, but that you are becoming the one who can hold it without losing your center. And now the energy around you is beginning to reflect that change. You may notice it in the way certain situations no longer hold the same weight. You may notice it in the way your patience is sharper now. You may notice it in the way your intuition keeps interrupting your fear. Do not ignore that. Do not shrink it. Do not explain it away. It is part of the preparation. And the most important part is this. The thing moving toward you is not just about what you gain. It is about what can no longer dominate you once it arrives. That is the real shift. That is why this feels so personal. That is why this message keeps pressing into the same truth. You're being brought to the place where lack stops speaking louder than promise, where hesitation stops leading, where the old story loses authority, and something much bigger steps forward, something already in motion, something you will recognize the second it touches your reality. Because deep down you have known for a while that this was never the end of the struggle. It was the beginning of the reveal. And the reveal is getting closer, because the next sign is already gathering just beyond what you can see. That is the part you need to feel now. Not later, now. Because what is approaching you has already begun to shift the atmosphere around your life. You may not have the language for it yet, but your body has noticed, your thoughts have noticed, your spirit has noticed. That is why you cannot settle fully into the old rhythm anymore. Something in you knows the old rhythm is ending, and the ending is not sad. It is necessary. It is making space for a new kind of flow, a flow you do not have to force, a flow that meets you where you are. That is what makes this different. This is not the kind of breakthrough you can control with panic. It comes through alignment. It comes through patience that has been tested. It comes through the quiet strength of the one who kept walking when no visible reward had arrived yet. That is why you have been under such a strange kind of pressure. The pressure was not there to crush you. It was there to remove what could not come with you. And now that the pressure is shifting, the space around you is changing with it. You may feel a little unsettled by that. You may feel something opening before it is fully visible. That is normal. That is what happens when a long-hidden answer gets close enough to be felt. You start sensing movement before you can explain it. You start sensing change before the evidence appears. You start sensing the blessing before it lands. And that is exactly where you are. Still in the in-between, still before the full reveal, but no longer in the same place you were before. The difference is real, the difference is inside you, and it matters because the next part of this journey will not be built on who you were when the struggle began. It will be built on who you became while you were waiting. That is the version that can receive what is coming. That is the version that can handle the sudden shift without falling apart. That is the version that can stand still when the moment finally arrives and say, "Yes, I was ready for this all along." And that readiness has been forming through everything you thought was random. The delay that frustrated you, the silence that confused you, the loss that humbled you, the detour that made no sense at the time. All of it was teaching your inner life how to hold more. That is why the unexpected wealth moving toward you is not just about amount. It is about capacity. It is about becoming someone who does not shrink when abundance enters the room. Someone who does not question every good thing before it can settle. Someone who does not sabotage the answer because it came after a long wait. You are being trained out of that, slowly, deeply, almost imperceptibly, until one day you realize the old fear is no longer running the show. That day is closer than you think. You may notice it in the way you respond differently now, a calmer instinct, a stronger boundary, a quieter confidence, a refusal to chase what is not meant for you, a refusal to beg for what is already on the way. That is not pride. That is alignment. That is what happens when a chosen one begins to recognize the difference between striving and receiving. And once you learn that difference, everything changes, because then you stop scattering your energy. You stop reaching into places that were never meant to hold you. You stop handing your power away to uncertainty. You become still enough to recognize the real opening when it appears. And the real opening is coming. You do not need to panic to make it real. You do not need to rush to deserve it. You do not need to chase it to prove you want it. It is already moving. It is already aligning. It is already closing distance with your life. That is why certain things around you feel unfinished. That is why some conversations feel like they are ending before they even fully start. That is why some paths no longer feel worth your energy. Your spirit has already moved ahead. Your life is catching up. And that creates a strange tension, because the outer world often lags behind the inner knowing, but not for long. Not when the timing is this precise. Not when the shift has already been set in motion. So stay with this feeling. Do not rush past it. Do not dull it. The quiet is not empty right now. It is loaded with something that has not announced itself yet. And when it does, the first thing you will understand is that the wait was never about absence. It was about making sure you could recognize the real thing when it finally stood in front of you. That is the moment everything starts to click. Not all at once, but enough. Enough to calm the part of you that kept asking why. Enough to steady the part of you that almost gave up on the timing. Enough to show you that every delay had a purpose you could not see while you were inside it. And now that purpose is beginning to reveal itself. You were being taught how to wait without becoming weak, how to hope without clinging, how to trust without needing constant proof. That is not small. That is preparation for a life that moves differently. A life where what comes to you is not fragile. A life where the next blessing does not disappear the moment you touch it. A life where your hands are steady enough to receive what your heart has been asking for. And that is why this feels so personal. Because it is not just about opportunity, it is about identity. It is about the version of you who can finally stand in front of an open door and know, without confusion, that this is not luck. This is alignment. This is what was always moving toward you beneath the noise. This is the answer that had to arrive in the right season, with the right strength, to the right soul. You may not have realized it while you were in the middle of the struggle, but the struggle was shaping your discernment. It was teaching you which voices deserve access. It was teaching you which doors are for you and which ones only look important. It was teaching you that not every delay is a block. Some delays are protection, some delays are refinement. Some delays are the quiet hand of timing, making sure the wrong thing does not enter too early. And now, because you did not rush the process, something deeper is happening. You are beginning to feel the difference between forced movement and true movement. That is one of the clearest signs that you are close. When forced things start feeling empty, when old paths start losing their weight, when your peace becomes more valuable than urgency, that is when the shift begins to lock in. Because the chosen one cannot carry the next level with the same hunger that once kept them surviving. The hunger had its season. Now it is becoming discernment. Now it is becoming wisdom. Now it is becoming calm authority. And calm authority is powerful. It does not need to announce itself. It does not need to chase validation. It simply knows when something is real. That is why your spirit has been so restless lately. Not because you are broken, because you are sensing a transition before your mind can label it. Your inner world is catching the current before your outer world catches up. And when that happens, you can feel both tension and peace at the same time. Tension because something is changing. Peace because you know the change is not against you, it is for you. That is the difference that matters now. This is not a season of random movement. This is a season of precision. And precision means the right thing arrives exactly when it can do the most good. That is why the coming shift may look simple from the outside. A conversation, an opening, an unexpected route, a chance that appears ordinary to everyone else. But you will know. You will know because it will carry weight. You will know because it will answer something in you that has been waiting for confirmation. You will know because it will feel like the unseen finally stepping into the room. And when that happens, there will be no need to force belief. The evidence will begin to speak for itself. You will see that the path was narrowing for a reason. You will see that certain people could not come with you for a reason. You will see that some losses were not punishments but clearings. You will see that the thing you called late was actually arriving at the exact moment your life could hold it. That realization will change you. It will make you quieter in the best way, stronger without noise, clearer without mice, clearer without panic, more certain without needing to perform certainty. That is the deeper gift hidden inside this whole process. You are not just getting something. You are becoming someone who can stand in the middle of receiving and not lose yourself. And because of that, the next door matters more than it seems. It is not merely a door, it is a confirmation point. It is the place where the internal knowing meets the external world. It is the place where what has been building in silence finally begins to take shape. And when it does, you will understand why the energy around you has been so charged lately, why certain moments felt heavier than normal, why your attention kept returning to the same quiet feeling, why your intuition would not let this go, because it was already preparing you for this exact threshold. And the threshold is near enough now that even your doubts are starting to lose their voice, not because they never mattered, because they have reached the edge of their power. The next thing has more power now. The next thing carries more truth. The next thing is already moving, and once it shows itself, you will realize the silence was never empty at all. It was holding back the reveal until you were ready to meet it head-on, and now something inside you is starting to understand. Not fully, but enough to feel the shift. Enough to stop questioning every step. Enough to recognize that this was never random movement. It was alignment building quietly. You can feel it in the way your thoughts are slowing down, in the way your reactions are changing, in the way you are no longer chasing clarity the same way. Something has settled, something has aligned, and it is happening before anything visible has fully arrived. That is the part most people miss. The inner confirmation comes first. The outer confirmation follows. And right now you are standing in that exact space, where you can feel it, but you cannot fully see it yet, where you know something is about to open, but it has not revealed itself completely. That space is not empty. It is active. It is forming. It is preparing to show you something that will not need explanation. And when it does, you will not react the way you used to. You will not doubt it the way you used to. You will not doubt it the way you used to. You will not hesitate the way you used to, because something in you has already shifted into position. That is why this moment feels different, quieter, heavier, more certain, as if everything is waiting for one final movement, one final signal, one final step that connects everything you have felt to everything that is about to become real. And the closer it gets, the less noise there is, the less confusion there is, the less confusion there is, the less resistance you feel inside. Because deep down you already know, you just have not seen it yet. And that is exactly where the next part begins. This is just the beginning. Something is already shifting in your favor. You're just beginning to see it. Subscribe to Born into Light.